Hello everyone. My name is Longley, and welcome back to my channel. Here is another episode that we are going to look at the market update. And specifically in this video, we are going to talk about the contract ratio. Okay, so we are in the very interesting situation that the contract ratio has been at a very low number. So what does that mean to the seller and the buyer and the investor? Okay, but then real estate investor. So we are going to look at all the information in this video right now. Okay, with that information, just dive right into that video. Okay, let me share with you this information right here. Yeah, this is right here is the contract ratio. And now if you follow me, you probably know what the contract ratio is. But if this is the first video that you are jumping into the contract ratio, again, all of these all of these data collected from a company called Cromford Associates, which is a very, very reliable real estate data company in Phoenix, Arizona. And the contract ratios is defined as the number of under contract over the number of active listing. Okay, so that is at the high level the contract ratio. This is a ratio between the listing that is under contract and the listing available. Contract ratio is the number of listing under contract divided by the number of listing availables. Okay, so in other words, we can understand that like right here, the number 36.5. That means if we have 36 property under contract, there are about 100 property that's still available to be purchased. Okay, to be purchased. Okay, so that show you the comparison between supply and demand. That number show you the supply and the demand relationship. The lower it is, you can see that there's no demand at all. The higher the number, there's a crazy amount of demand on the market. For example, if you see here, if you remember back in the time that we have COVID, right? Instead of we're thinking that the demand goes much lower, we actually have a really high demand at that time, mainly because of the interest rate is super low at that time, and people they don't know what to do. They don't know, or like they cannot go to work, so the only thing that they can do is go shopping for houses, right? So it's go really high at around 332 right here in around April 2021. Okay, so that means if they are on the market, there are 300 houses under contract, there's only about 100 houses available to purchase, right? Almost triple. Now here on October, as of October 2022, we do have the number about around only 36.5, and I already explained that number for you. Okay, everything happened after the May right here, right? The highest of this year is March of 278, when the interest rate is still low, and then after that the interest rate go higher. The contract ratio dropped out to 241, which is still a very like the insanity region right here. Anything that above 60 is considered a hot or fancy market, right? So all the way until July 2022, we still have a contract ratio above 60. And after that, because as you remember, the interest rate keep going higher. In August, September, the contract ratio dropped down to a warm market, okay, from around 50, okay, from around 50, right, 45 and 45 for right there, right? Now, according to Cromford Associates, if the number below 40, okay, if the number below 40, if the number is below 35, below 30, then we're gonna go into the cool market. So as of right now, it is 36.5, right? 36.5, meaning that it is very close to a cool market. Now, one thing to remember, this numbers represent the entire Greater Phoenix area, with all the cities within that area. Okay, that's one number right there. In fact, if you're looking at the more detailed map, right, with a contract ratio by zip code, you see that as on right here on the right corner is a legend of the map, right? Cold is in the light blue area, right? In fact, a lot of area already in the cold market, okay? Especially, for example, here, Chandler, and here's the Gilbert area, here's the Tempe area right here, Phoenix area right here, Peoria, Glendale area, Avondale, Litchfield Park area right here, right? A lot of them already in the cold market, while the majority of the area is still in the warm area. But we can see that there's some area already in the cold market. Okay, so what happened in the cold market? Basically, no one want to do anything, right? The buyers do not want to buy, the seller does not want to sell, right? And for that reason, and by the way, there's still some area that's still hot, right? Surprisingly, in the middle of Phoenix right here, Phoenix, another area in Phoenix right here, and this is also Phoenix, right? So Phoenix is still some area, some zip code inside of Phoenix is still in a hot market, okay? But I'm sure that eventually, if there's nothing changed with the current market, it's gonna become very similar to other area, whether it's gonna be warm or cold. All right. So what do I mean? So I talk about a lot about like the information of the code, the contract ratio, and things like that. So what does that mean to you, to the buyer, to the seller, and to the investor, right? So basically, what we can see so far is that the entire Phoenix, overall, the Greater Phoenix area right here, in pretty much gonna reach the cold market very soon. And I believe that with the interest rate go even higher nowadays, and it is going to the November, December area month time of the year, right? Not a lot of people gonna be willing to move during that time. So the buyer demand even gonna be keeping low right now. Okay, so there's nothing changed in the demand. There's nothing changed in the supply, right? People still want to buy, people still want to sell. Those people that want to sell, they have to sell, right? So there's nothing changed. So we can see that the market gonna be even colder as the winter comes, right? So this year is very interesting because we're gonna see not only just the weather is become colder, but also the real estate market also colder as well, right? So for the buyer, for those of you who are serious in terms of looking for a property, this is, I believe, the best time for the buyer to jump in. This is going to be the best time for the buyers to jump in. I repeat this. This is going to be the best time for the buyers to jump in because here's number one. You have a lot of choices on the market right now to choose, okay? To choose from, right? You don't have to rush. You don't have to make an offer within 5 seconds. No more. You have time to look for the properties. And secondly, when you negotiate, you have more chance to win, right? You can negotiate with the purchase price, with the inspection, with the appraisal, and the seller is actually listening to you, right? They no longer say, hey, this guy reduced 5,000, never mind, remove those contract, right? So now, for those of you who are not familiar with the 2021 and 2020, the beginning of 2022 market, you probably don't understand what I meant by that, right? But basically, right now, there's plenty of listings for you to choose from, right? You can very most likely win a negotiation as well if the seller is serious. Okay, I just recently negotiated down $40,000 of asking, and the asking price already reduced from the original list price. So there's a lot of wiggle room for you in terms of the purchase price right there, and depend on what the seller is willing to accept as well. But you have more chance to win. So the buyer, this is the best time for you to jump in. Okay, for the seller, if you are not serious of selling, don't sell. Okay, you don't have to sell. Right, here's the thing: you can have if you are in a situation that your job you have to move to a different area because of job location, relocation, or you downsize or upsize, right? Then you are in a situation that you must move to different property than sell. right? But you do have to be very careful in terms of pricing your house, because if you price your house wrong, then everything's going to be messed up and it's going to take forever for you to sell your house. Okay. So, but if you do not, if you do not have the must to sell, wait. Okay, don't sell, especially now, especially at this time. December, November is not the best time for you to sell. Maybe wait until spring, right? February, March is a better time, because at that time, more buyers are going to come onto the market. And I believe that by the end of 2023, by the end of Q2 2023, we're going to have a better market for you to sell at that time. Okay, for the investor, similar to the buyer, right? Similar to the buyers, this is a time. You don't have to worry about the interest rate is so high, right? As long as it's cash flow, then what does that matter to you? You can, again, similar to the buyers, you have more options, more choice on the market for you to say, hey, is it a good investment or not? Is it a good investment or not? Is it a good investment or not, right? You can choose among those, and then you can negotiate with them. So the investor, here's the thing, as long as the market, and by the way, the good news in Phoenix area is that the market, the rent price is also going higher. If you are interested in receiving a rent report, let me know as well, and I'll send more information to you on that, right? The rent price going higher. So basically, even though you pay more for the monthly mortgage because of the interest rate higher, now with the inflation is going crazily, would you rather putting your money in the bank to lose all the value, or would you rather to go with real estate, pay a monthly payment a little bit higher than last year? However, your rent is also high. So as long as you find the deal, that is bringing you the positive cash flow, so why does that matter? Right? Why does that matter? So, by the way, I'm doing that for all of my investors, finding the deals, the one that give the cash flow, brainstorming with them about the idea how to make, let's say, a negative cash flow property, how to make that become a positive cash flow property, right? If you are interested in joining the list, let me know, and I will send you the information on that one as well. Now, the last thing that I want to share with you is this chart right here. This chart showing the market index between the supply, which is the red bar, red line right here, and the green is the demand. The lighter red is the price, okay, the home price. Now, I know a lot of people was worried about this situation right here when we have a crazily high amount of supply on the market right here, right? Because it's very similar to 2005, right? Now, here's one thing that we didn't see. In 2005, the number of supply keep going higher. At the same time, the number of demand keep going lower, as you see here, right? The number of supply keep going higher, and the number of demand keep going lower. At this time in 2002, 2022, if I may zoom in, as you see that everything has been plateaued out, right? You can see that it is already plateaued out. You see the green here and you see the red here, right? Everything is already plateaued out. They do not further crossing, right? They do not further crossing. And to be able to make the price drop, as you see here, to be able to make the price drop here, the supplies has to remain at a very high number for at least a year. We don't have that situation here in this year. We don't have that situation. Not everyone has to sell. Not everyone has to sell. Besides some investor that they acquire a lot of properties at the beginning of 2022, for example, Open Door, Offer Path, those that you do fix and flip and only have 6 months for the loan, then you have to sell. But right now, the majority of the owners, they do not have to sell. So if you're thinking that the price is gonna change, rethink it. Well, one thing that I have to agree with you is that the price since May of this year has been dropping, right? If you bought a house in May, which is at a very peak right here, 2022, your home value decrease, right? But if you bought a house like, let's say here, then it's still a positive number here. So the price is not actually a drop. It just you receive less profit, right? You receive less profit rather than dropping. Okay, so we don't, as of right now, long story short, as of right now, we don't foresee that there's a market crash anytime soon with the current condition, right? If that happening based on this information that I follow, that I tracking and I reporting to you, we're gonna be able to find out right away. So I will contact you in that situation. Of course, you can follow the Monday market update so that you can know the market condition as well. That's all I have in this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'm looking forward to see you next time. Bye-bye.